Hello, my name is Emeterio C. Olibria. You can call me Rio, and today I'll be going over my semester summary for the fall class of 2018 EE 202 or Circuits. Let's begin. So I would like to say before we get started, this class was more than just circuits. That being said, let's talk about what we did though. We did learn more. I felt like I did gain more knowledge of the electrical components within the circuit. I learned new circuit analysis techniques. I was also introduced to new tools and devices within this class. There was multiple projects and labs we did, along with the neat resources and discussions / cultural themes that I will be referencing in order to determine the grade I did deserve. I feel like I deserve within this class. Aside from that, initially at the beginning of the semester, I felt that I was working towards an A. I will tell you later on what grade I do deserve. I feel that I do deserve. Let's begin. So, for circuit components, I felt that I was introduced to more tools within this class. The pictures here on screen, including the resistors, the capacitors, potentiometers, piezo, and inductors, are only scratching the surface of what was actually introduced to me for this class. I learned more. I learned about amplifiers. I learned about op amps, operational amplifiers. I also learned slightly bit about ST holders. While I learned more about what was it called? I learned more. However, although I did know about capacitors and inductors of how they are made, I learned how to actually reference them within the circuit and able to use them to measure current. The changing current within them, thus the changing voltage by learning DFEQ. Let's continue. Another thing that we actually was new to me were circuit analysis. I was already familiarized with how to add up together capacitors, inductors, and resistors to get equivalent. Well, what I just said. Within series and parallels, but I was unfamiliar with how to measure current and voltage drop within them in circuits with multiple sources of voltage. However, that's not limited to cells. I'm also including the inducing current as well, which is another new topic for me. We learned about the Thevenin technique, the Norton technique, superposition, both Kirchhoff's laws, current and voltage, along with mesh analysis. I was also able to get put into a name of what I have been using for the past years, Kirchhoff's law, without knowing. The sixth circuit analysis that is missing from this list is node analysis. But it was interesting to learn these techniques and learn that there was multiple ways of applying what I learned, multiple ways of applying it. So let's go into the tools and devices. So on the screen, the first tools that we actually worked with was a multimeter, which was a fun tool to work with. We'll be able to measure out volts, amps, and current within the alternating current and direct current. Another item that we worked with was the Arduinos, which I have used but never actually use and study them. I did not know how they work, but now since I have experience with them, I'm familiarized with myself that they are the source of energy and provides outputs based similar to how and depending on the code that we're using in the circuit, it can change based on the inputs being for the circuits, how some sides can actually measure variety of inputs, and rather if current's going in or out, rather current is going into it, or there's nothing. Another interesting tool that we did learn to use were oscilloscopes, or oscopes for short. Oscopes, they are capable of measuring voltage in a sine wave format over time, giving us interesting charts and graphs, and to actually see rather our math used in our previous statements, such as capacitors and inductors, is equivalent to actually what's happening in the circuit. We did a few labs with these tools. Off the bat, we have been using oscilloscopes multiple times within labs on Tinkercad for items such as a crossover network to construct filters, and for RCL circuits. We mainly use the Arduinos for the Arduino practice labs. However, the Nano Arduino played a major important role when we were in the first major project, the Lightsaber. The Lightsaber lab was a lab that actually pushed our experience to the mats, where we actually used the coding experience we learned previously and our soldering skills. Also be able to work with others, our other peers. I forgot to mention another important electrical tool that we did use and learn to use, which is the Raspberry Pi. Although the name is misleading, the Raspberry Pi is a handheld device that is basically a computer. It can be programmed, it can be modified. All we just need to do is be able to plug it into a monitor and a keyboard to actually work with it. As you can see in this image, we actually reprogrammed it so we can work with it. It's capable of playing retro games. Now I want to take this time to talk about Neat resources. Within the Neat resources, I felt that I went through. I felt like I participated. I presented what was there. At the same time, I went and viewed others people's Neat resources as well. One of the few Neat resources that I enjoy going over was augmented realities, of how we actually displaying 3D images in the digital world in reality, such as be able to produce holograms. However, for this slide, I will be going over Neat resources that actually expanded what I like to say my arsenal. These are from these symbols alone. I feel that I was able to pick up a few new skills in presenting myself through the use of Piktochart, Prezi, and OneNote. At the same time, I picked up skills within other programs such as Spice, Tinkercad, and GitHub. Altogether, I was able to find ways to actually be able to use items I learned and apply them, while at the same time be able to express myself. I was able to use Piktochart to craft this Piktochart for Proposition 127, which is something I wasn't expecting to discuss within circuits, but I did enjoy making this chart for my weekly summary. I want to go into further about the big Neat resource for OneNote. To me, OneNote was a blessing I took from this class. It was a interesting tool that allows me to interact with my other classmates to an extent, while at the same time I was able to craft well-organized notes for daily notes, incorporating everything that occur on a daily basis. I'm actually considering using OneNote for my future classes, and it's one way to I was able to remain organized. For the discussions, I felt that I was able to go through them all, majority of them, and provide my own thoughts, while at the same time influence expressing myself on my peers' thoughts as well. And it made me really think of how stuff that was posted years ago can actually still be applied today, such as the digital world the digital world video that we saw. It really makes us think. Another thing that occurred within this class is that we actually underwent a cultural STEAM experience where we went out and find one. I experienced two, that one within a communication lecture, which taught me that being an introvert is okay, that it's okay. I originally went there to pick up tools and techniques to actually improve myself to speak around my peers and be able to introduce the spatial engineering idea. However, it taught me that it's good to have more people from a variety of backgrounds to come up with ideas, because it could produce creativity. And for the latter of my STEAM at the Arizona Science Center, I learned that this is how people get into the STEAM world to begin with, how they pick up science, technology, engineering, mechanics. As you can see, there's actually exhibits meant for children, and I saw that a lot of children were actually interacting, and I saw that they were learning. Here is a chart of my time management skills within this class. Of how many hours daily I work for this one class. This includes the time periods for when I'm in class and for my work outside of class. In total, I worked a total of 184 hours. That's more hours than there is within a week. I'm producing about 12.2 hours on a weekly basis for this one class. Normally, I would provide 3 hours to one class for every credit. So I would like to do 15 hours, but I feel that 12 is a reasonable amount. 12.3 hours is a reasonable amount for this one class. Now this just goes back to the topic of what grade do I deserve. I feel that I have produced A quality notes. I feel that I participated enough in the discussions where it's a B level. Well, my summaries of our course my weekly summaries, and I often do interact with the class, and I am trying to learn at a quality level. Although I'm unable to pick up a few topics in the class, I feel by the end I earned myself a solid B for the course due to my participation and how much work I do put in. The reason why I'm not saying A is because I'm a person who used to delegate my tasks. I always push it to the next week. I was never finishing it within a week. I was always piling it up for the next week and doing it there. So that's why I'm saying I didn't meet my standards of an A quality student. That's why I'm saying I deserve a B. And that has been my semester summary. Overall, I feel that this class was a great experience, and I picked up things that I wouldn't have learned in a normal classroom.